Hello, everyone. Happy Monday. Happy week of July the 14th. I hope you had a great weekend. Let's jump right into it. This week, we are pulling a card from our usual Soul's Journey from James Van Prague around our monthly mantra of redefining failure. Redefining failure. And this one was interesting. It was very interesting this week, and I really had to sit with it for a second. And I read the book, and it's going to be good, but it made me say, hmm. And the card is loneliness, loneliness. And it says, I know that I am never alone. I know that I'm never alone. And the part of the book that I wanted to read before I really get into what came to me, it says, this card has come to you because you must be reminded that there is a difference between being lonely and being alone. Feelings of loneliness originate from a sense of not appreciating the most important person in your life, you. I want to repeat that because I think it's worth repeating. Feelings of loneliness originate from a sense of not appreciating the most important person in your life, you. You. And there was another one. Um, let's see. Maybe it's not sticking out to me at this point, so maybe it's not worth for me to relay that message. Um, how this to me relates to failure. Sometimes when we fail or think we have failed, then we retreat. We sometimes don't put ourselves out there again. Maybe it was such a blow that we just don't want to socialize and move forward. And that is truly understandable because we have certain things that we want in our lives. And when things don't follow through the way we think they would or should, then it's very crushing. It is very crushing. What I have learned in my experience from my point of view, from my journey, is that when I fail, and again, if you go back to watch our midweek motivation, we talked about redefine or to define that. What does failure mean to you? Um, when I fail at something, I want to retreat. Probably want to self-soothe, whether that's with caffeine or chocolate or that's my go-to. Food's my go-to. But then I want to sit with someone who I truly trust and walk through it. I want to go through what happened to see what could have been done differently. Um, if there was something that I contributed, because we're all players, right? We're all players in this thing called life. And what part did I play in that and taking that responsibility? And then I'm not overanalyzing it by myself. And I love to do this with someone who thinks differently than me. Of course, I love my people who think like me. We all have those people. Um, but sometimes when I fail, I don't want to be with those people because if they think like me, then they're going to think about, same way I do. So I want to sit with someone and talk with someone who thinks differently than me. So not only am I not isolating myself anymore, I am addressing the situation with somebody that thinks differently than I do and that I trust and that I love and they love me. And so as you go through this week, if something's weighing on you as something that you consider a failure, please think about how it would feel to sit with someone that you trust to just talk through it. Sometimes you just need to talk through it. Sometimes you just need to get it out. I say many, many times I have a great small circle of friends. And I love them dearly. And But sometimes I just need to talk to my husband. He is my best friend, and things just don't become real to me sometimes or really emotional until I talk to him because he's my person, right? And if you don't have that, I hope that you find someone, a best friend, a sibling, a parent, a therapist, a coach, someone at your church or place of religion. Find someone that you trust to talk through this, especially if they have a different viewpoint or look at things differently, right? So as you go through this week, see what it feel like, what it would feel like if you were to talk it out with someone else with a different viewpoint or a different way of looking at things. Sit with that. Sit with your emotions. Talk about your emotions with this person. And um, really think about how can you move forward. One thing I feel like we don't want to do is get stuck in that failure. And one thing that we are doing on Thursday nights and embracing me is working through those failures, working through what it feels like, redefining what failure looks like. And I love, and I'm going to share this that last week in group we talked about how um, failure is a learning opportunity. It's a learning opportunity. So if something doesn't work out the way it was supposed to, what did you learn from it? What did you gain? And that is reframing what failure might look like to some people. So this week, if you haven't gotten your definition yet of failure, work on that. Also think about what would it feel like to talk with someone with a different perspective to really work through whatever is going on so you do not feel the loneliness. All right, everybody. I hope you have a great week and I will see you soon.